and welcome back to my channel. So, today I wanted to talk a little bit about the character performer auditions for the Disney College program. My audition was in New York City at the Pearl Studios on September 29th. So I had woken up super early, 5 o'clock in the morning, to start getting ready because I just didn't want to miss my train and I wanted to get there earlier than I was supposed to. The check-in time for the audition was around 10:30. That's what it said on the website. And they also say, do not arrive any earlier than 9:30. But I knew from watching all the other vlogs that I'm sure everyone else in the world has watched that most of the time when they got there at the time that they were supposed to be there, there was already 100 people waiting to get in, so they wound up being in the second or third group. So I wanted to get there earlier than I was supposed to so I can be in that first group or in the second group, you know, whatever time I got there, but I just wanted to be there early. So I got on a train in my town in New Jersey at around 7:40 in the morning, and I got to Penn Station at around 8:50 in the morning. When I got there, I had met up with one of the girls from the New York City auditions group me chat, and we walked over to the Starbucks that was across the street from Pearl Studios. So we met up with a few of these girls, and that was around 9 o'clock. So at around 9:40, we walked over to the studios, got upstairs, and when we got up there, there was already a room of maybe like 60 people, and they were just, I don't know how long they were waiting there for, but it was obviously before the time of the actual check-in. So when we got there and we went to go sit down, that's when the casting director came in and said, okay, everyone stand up, we're gonna move you to the other room, the audition process will begin now, or something along those lines. So we got there just in the nick of time to be in that first group of auditions. When you leave that room and you are walking over to the other room, the casting director hands you a number. I got number 8, and I still have the number, but it's a little beaten and torn because you wear it throughout the entire audition. But I have it on my vanity in my room. I'm in my mom's room, but that random information. Anyways, so we sit down in this big room. There's maybe 70 of us, and the casting director explains a little bit of what the audition is, what they're kind of looking for, you know, like being animated, being really, really animated. And they make sure to tell you that if you get cut after that first round, to come back to another audition. So always remember that you can go to another audition, that this is not your final one, that just keep trying and who knows, maybe you'll get it. After he explains all of that, he asks us to take out our phones and sign in. He tells us the website to go to and gives us the link, and we have to fill out some of the information, basic information, your name and all that stuff. And then about 5 minutes later, the choreographer comes in and talks to us a little bit, and the audition starts. So what you do is you learn an animation and a simple dance. The animation was to pretend you were a character on a parade float. And the animation is the most important part of this entire audition because they want you to be really animated and have really big movements, big decisions. So keep that in mind while you're auditioning, because there are people who can dance and people like me who can't dance, and they will know right away if you can or can't dance. So that's why they stress that the animation is extremely important and to keep smiling even if you mess up the dance, because they're not fully looking for dancers. If you can dance, I am envious, but that doesn't define this audition. What defines the audition is how much fun you're having, and if you can pretend like you know what you're doing and be really big and animated. So you learn that audition, the animation, and after that you learn the dance. The dance was supposed to be a simple dance, and I guess it was simple for normal people, but for people like me who can't dance, it was a little hard. So what you basically had to do was marching and jazz squares and pivot turns and more marching, but the marching was easy, obviously, because you know, you're marching. But the jazz square, that's what destroyed me. If you have never done a jazz square in your life, practice it, because those feet movements got really confusing. So after you go over the dance a few times, basically the actual audition starts, where the casting director is on this side of the room and everyone else is going to be on this side. So you line up in groups of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You stand at one side of the room. So if you're looking at it this way, you're basically here, the casting director is over here. So you do your animation standing still, and then they will count you in and you will do your dance 3 times across the floor. And when you're done with that, basically your first audition is over, and you wait in the back of the line and then wait for everyone else to finish. And then you sit down and wait for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. I don't really remember the exact amount of time we were waiting. And I guess that was the time that they were deliberating on who was to stay and who was to go. So he told us and made sure to tell us again and again that if you do not get it, come back. It's just because they're not looking for someone exactly like you at the moment. So remember that. And then he began to say the numbers, and he said, if we call your number, you're here to stay. So he skipped over maybe like numbers 1, 2, and 3 or something, and I really thought that he was not going to call my number because I messed up that dance so hard. But I kept remembering to smile and have fun, because I was having so much fun, but I was just so nervous because I really can't dance. And he wound up calling number 8, and I was like, what? No way. And so I made it to the second round. After he finished going over all the numbers, everyone who was not called was asked to leave, sadly, and then everyone else was asked to stay, and he just went over our numbers again to double check, and then we played the waiting game. We were waiting in that room for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, because we had to wait for the other groups to do their dance, their animation, the cuts, and all that stuff. So within that time, they took our picture, where from just about like your torso up, and then they took your height and some basic information. So that took no time at all. And while you're waiting in that room, you get to meet everyone, all the people who you could potentially be working with, and everyone, and I mean everyone, was so, so nice. I have a Snapchat from that day. If I can learn how to insert videos in here, then I'll insert that Snapchat video that I took after those cuts were made, and there was just a few of us in that room waiting. So after those 2 hours, an hour and a half goes by, that's when everyone else starts to come into this room that I was in. So everyone who was not cut from the other groups. So when everyone is done, we all wait in this room, and we are then told that we're going to be learning the second dance and the second animation. The second animation was really cool. You had to pretend you were making a monster, and then when they, you know, counted you in, you had to turn into that monster. And it was around Halloween time, you know, September 29th. It's basically Halloween. So it was really cool to be doing that, and then you learn the harder dance. What was weird is I found this dance to be a little bit easier, and I don't know why. It was a lot harder movements and a lot more steps, but I found the beginning half of the dance to be easy. When I got to like the last few steps, I was done for. There was pirouettes and kicks, and I don't know dance terms, but I didn't like any of it. After we go over the dance a bunch of times, because she splits it up into sections, the choreographer, so we learn however many, you know, like a 32 count here and then there, and then we put it all together. So after we learn the animation and the dance, we are split into even smaller groups. So there was maybe like numbers 1 through 9 or 1 through 10. I don't remember how many people exactly, but you were split into these smaller groups to actually do the animation and the dance in front of a choreographer. So, and the casting director, what am I saying? So you do the dance in front of the casting director and the choreographer, and you're set up in window form. So person here, here, and here, you know, kind of like that. And you do your animation once, and that's it for your animation, and then you do your dance twice. So the people in the back get a chance to be in the front. So you do your dance, and then you switch lines, and then you do the dance again. And when that's over, you're either asked to stay, or you are told they've seen all they need to see from you and you can go home. And what that means is that you aren't cut from being a character performer if they ask you to go home. It's a common misconception that if you are asked to go home after that second round of auditions that you will not get it, but that is not the case. I was asked to go home, so I don't really know exactly what happens if you're asked to stay. I know that there was, I think, 3 people in my smaller group that were asked. So there was 2 boys in my group, and this one girl, who's a really good dancer, was asked to stay. And I think you're either like in consideration for face character or parade dancer. Like I said, I wasn't asked to stay, so I don't really know. But after that, they give you a piece of paper on your way out that just says you can hear back by November 17th, and then you're on your way. So myself and one of the girls in my smaller group walked over to Times Square to go to the Disney store. She wanted to buy some stuff, and I had some time to kill before the train was coming. So that was maybe like 2 o'clock. And I then took the train back to my town at around 2:40. You know, me and the girl, we went our separate ways. And I got back to my town at around 3:50, 4 o'clock-ish. And my day lasted from 5 in the morning, because that's when I woke up, to like 4 in the afternoon, because that's when I really got home and everything. And that was pretty much it. You know, I heard back about 3 weeks later on October 20th. That was actually the day I was accepted into the program, and I had gotten the role of character performer. So it was really crazy and so much fun. And if you watched my last video, you would know that I was in Disney when I was accepted into the program. So that was even crazier. But that was pretty much it, and it was such an amazing experience. The people were so nice and so kind. So I suggest you get to know these people. And if you go to the audition not knowing anyone, that's fine, because you will get to know these people. And they're just so nice. The casting director was so nice, the choreographer, the people, just everyone was really nice. And I have some little tips for you, very short amount of tips. So when you're there, be confident, because it will really show. And they tell you that I think around 1,000 people audition for this role, and maybe 150 people get it. So that's why you have to really show that you are confident and that you deserve to be there. Also, make sure you smile the entire time. When I was doing my second dance, I think I forgot to smile a little bit because I was so nervous, because I had messed up on both dances. When we got to do it both times, I messed up on the same exact part both times. So I don't think I smiled through that, but I don't know, I wasn't looking at my own face. So make sure you continue to smile the entire time, because it's really important. Also, remember to be super animated, big movements, because that's so important. And also, have fun. You're at a Disney audition. Just being there was an experience. Even if you didn't get it, it's kind of, you get to say, hey, I went to a Disney audition. And it really was a lot of fun. Even though I've never been to an audition before, this was my first audition, it was just so much fun. So remember that, and that's pretty much it. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.